Morning. This is Terry from the Frugal Connection. Welcome to my kitchen. It is Monday morning here. I had a crazy busy weekend. I traveled 5 hours to be with family for a family funeral. Spent the night with my sister, traveled an hour and a half to a speaking engagement yesterday morning, and then came the rest of the way home last night. So I zonked out. I was really tired last night. I just remember watching part of the Olympics and falling asleep at some point. And it was like 10:30 and I finally moved upstairs and went to bed. So anyway, this morning, while I was visiting my sister, she has a massive zucchini crop this year, and she had so many zucchini. And she asked me if I wanted some, and I said, sure, thinking she'd give me a couple, and she gave me these. And, you know, like these monstrosities, we'll see how they taste. They seem to be very large, but that's how it goes in the summer with zucchini. And this morning I'm going to start by making zucchini fritters. But the difference is because I eat a whole food plant-based diet, I don't use oil or eggs or dairy products, any of that stuff. I'm going to try to make these in a way so that they're baked and without egg, because traditionally zucchini fritters have eggs in them. They have all-purpose flour. Sometimes you can add cheese to them. So I'm going to try something different, and I'm going to invite you along with me as we do this, and we'll see how it goes. All right, I put aside the larger ones because I'm going to use those for something else. I think one of the things that I'm going to make, and I'm not sure it'll be in this video or I'll do it in a different video, is Middle Eastern stuffed zucchini. And I'm stuffing it with lentils and quinoa and a mixture of spices, onions, garlic, all that. So we'll do that for a different video. I also want to try to make a zucchini cake with dairy-free, oil-free. So I'm going to start by grating the zucchini, and I have a bowl that I just lined with cheesecloth, because the thing with zucchini, it has so much moisture in it, so we're going to want to squeeze out every bit of moisture we can of this. But I want to get a knife so I can cut off the ends of this. All right, so let me move that to the side, and then I'm going to move this over here. And we just want to get these ends off. These have been washed, so they're all set to go. Cut that little piece out. It's just like a blemish in the skin, but it's good. All right. Okay, so we just start by grating it right into this bowl. And, the amount that you need probably really depends on the amount of fritters that you want to make. I'm going to just go ahead and use all of these. And when I put this recipe together, I will put the link down below, because a lot of times people will ask me for measurements from things in my videos, and I always place those recipes on my website. So the link below will be to my website, thefrugalconnection.com, and there you can find all the recipes that I am showing you in these videos with all the measurements. And you're going to use skin and all for this, because that's the best part, is the skin. That's where the most nutrients are, I think. And the nice thing about baking these is that you're not going to get all that oil, which just puts added calories that you don't need into your food. So there's no need to fry zucchinis, or zucchini fritters. You can actually bake them in the oven, and it'll do the trick. Good. Just do a little bit more of this side. All right, I'm not going to use the rest of this because this seems like a little spongy there. Okay, so here we have our zucchini, and that looks like it's about 3 cups to me. 3 or 4 cups. In fact, I should probably measure it so I know. This is a problem. I live in a small house with a small kitchen. I love to bake and cook, so things are kind of all over the place, and I just try to do the best I can with the space that I have. So that's 4 cups, plus we have about a half more in here. So I'm just going to say 4 cups for the recipe. And what we want to do is, I want to get this moisture out, and I'm going to add some salt. Now, if you're doing no salt, just skip this step. But I don't mind salt, and it doesn't bother me, but I use a lot less than I ever used to. So I'm going to add a little salt to this just to draw the moisture out, and it will add in some flavor. I don't have one of my measuring spoons, so I'm just going to use this. I have Redmond's real salt that I like to use, but any salt will work. And I'm going to use about, this is about half a teaspoon. Okay. And I am going to mix it up. I'm going to let this sit for about 10 minutes, and then I will meet you back here and we will squeeze out the moisture. I was thinking about this recipe and what I could use to bind this together. And I know that you can add a flax egg, because I'm not using eggs, but I could use a flax meal egg. So you add, for flax meal egg, for 1 egg, it's a tablespoon of flax meal, ground flax meal, to 3 tablespoons of water. So I could do that, but the other thing you can use is aquafaba. And what that is, it's basically the water that you find in a can of chickpeas. I've researched this, and if you can your own beans at home, you can still do it, but you have to take the aquafaba and simmer it or boil it on top of the stove for a little while to get it to the right thickness. So in this case, it's almost better to use a can of chickpeas from the store, because they've been sitting in this for a while, and that gives you the consistency you want. So I'm going to take this can, I'm going to open it up, and all I'm going to do is drain the liquid into this bowl, and I'm going to show you how this works. It's kind of a cool thing because it almost turns into like egg whites. It looks like egg whites when you whip it. Yet obviously it's not, but it does the same type of thing. It kind of does this binding thing. It helps. I use it in my granola. It's an oil. It's a way to make granola without oil, and it kind of gives it a crispness that I wouldn't get otherwise. So I got my handy hand mixer and my bowl of liquid, and I'm just going to mix this up. Excuse me, I'm going to whip it. Hey friends, we're back. I have whipped up my aquafaba. The cool thing about this, it's kind of a really strange thing because it'll whip like egg whites. So as you can see here, I have, it's firm, it won't move, but yet it's underneath, it's still kind of liquidy. And if I were to put this back in the refrigerator, it would just turn back into the chickpea liquid after an hour or two. So what I'm going to do now is take my zucchini, which has been sitting here. Now this particular zucchini does not seem to have a ton of moisture in it, and I'm thinking maybe because they were so overgrown. But we're going to just take my cheesecloth here, and I'm going to squeeze it. All right, there's some coming out. It's making a mess. And so what you want to do is you want to get as much liquid out as possible, because that will help your fritters be crispy. Now I was trying to think of a kind of a Whole Foods option, like least processed as possible. And I know all-purpose flour is like just super processed, but not only that, it's the grain, it's made from wheat where they've taken off the outer husk where all the fiber is. So now not only is it processed to grind it up to make flour, but you're starting with a grain where the good part of it has been removed. So if you want to use flour instead of cornmeal, which is what I'm going to use in this recipe, I decided to use cornmeal. You can use all-purpose flour perhaps, or some sort of gluten-free flour, but even those, I don't know, it depends. Like It's all processed no matter what, but you just want to pick something that's going to give you the most bang for your buck. Okay. I think that's good. Okay, I'm going to dump this over here. And I'm just going to empty all this right into my bowl. And actually, this is not cheesecloth, this is a tea towel. But you can use a tea towel, you can use cheesecloth, or you can just put it in a strainer, but it's going to be a lot harder to really get all the liquid out if you do that. All right, I'm going to, actually I can just use this. All right, so we're starting with well drained zucchini, and we have 4 cups of zucchini here. And now I'm going to take an onion and I am going to mince it very fine. And I think I'm only going to use half this onion. I don't really want to use all that in there. Okay, I'm going to mince up this onion very fine. All right, I'm going to mix this all together. And now I'm going to add in, I'm going to start with 1/3 cup of cornmeal. I have a 2/3 cup measuring cup here, so I'm just going to use half of that. I'm going to add about 2/3 cup of my aquafaba, and I'm just getting the, my goodness, that really is stuck in there. I mean, it's really firm, like stiff egg whites. That's what it turns out to be like. Actually, I'm going to use a little more because it's about 1.33 cups that I used of that. I'm going to add a teaspoon of smoked paprika. Now, I'm not going to add any more salt, I don't believe, because I put 1/2 teaspoon on the zucchini in order for it to draw the moisture out. And the aquafaba, the can of chickpeas I had, did have added salt, so that's, I don't think it's going to need more salt, and I don't want too much salt. All right, I'm going to put a teaspoon of garlic powder, and I'm going to do a couple of turns of black pepper. And you can pretty much add whatever you want to this, so it doesn't really matter. Whatever your tastes are. All right. Now the whole point of this is we want it to firm up so that you can drop it by spoonfuls onto your baking sheet. My oven is preheating to 425 degrees. And the reason I'm using a higher heat like that is because I want this to crisp. And I'm definitely going to need more of this stuff. I'm going to add in so far I've put in here about 2.5 cups of the aquafaba. And I still have some left, so I can use more if I need it. Now, this may be a total flop. I'm going to assume that it's going to work. I always hope for the best. And it's okay if it doesn't, because then we'll know and I won't make this again. That's kind of my process when I make these different kinds of dishes is I attempt them. I've baked and cooked long enough so that I kind of have a good idea of what works. And then I try it, and if it really, like I don't like the taste of it, or I just don't think it's a good choice, then we won't do that again. Okay, that seems to be gelling together pretty good. You know, obviously it's not an egg, so it's not going to be perfect the way you're used to, but okay, my oven just went off. That's perfect timing. I'm just going to now take these, and I think I'm just going to take a big giant spoon and drop them onto here, and then I'll flatten them out. It smells yummy. Okay, that might have been too much to be. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I really could have taken one of these and turned it into 10, so about 10 fritters. I'm going to pop this in the oven. I'm going to leave it in there for 15 minutes or so. I will let you know the exact times, and I'll meet you back here after I flip them. Okay, friends, I pulled this out of the oven. They were in there for 23 minutes. I am now going to try to flip them without destroying them. And again, like I mentioned, it's not perfect. It's okay if it's not perfect. All right, let me grab a hold of the edge of this. I guess I got to do it fast. It's like pulling a tablecloth. Remember those tricks where they'd pull the tablecloth and leave all the things on top of the table intact? I kind of feel like this is what this is like sometimes. And if you mess it up like I just did with that one, it's okay. You just pat it back into shape. I notice when you get it on the second side that, and it goes back into the oven, that it kind of all gels together at that point. And I usually, without burning my fingers, try to grab out the edge of the parchment paper. Okay, I got them all flipped. It was a little bit of a craziness, but I just kind of, I flipped them. Some of them, well, most of them I had to kind of reshape a little bit with the spatula and the knife. But now I'm going to pop them back in the oven for about another 15 minutes, just so that this side can crisp up, and then they should be good to go. And I will meet you back here then. Hi friends, this is what's left of the zucchini fritters. My husband does not like zucchini, but he willingly tried one of these for me, and he actually liked it and ate a bunch of them. So there you go. I guess it's a winner after all. However, I think what I would do differently if I were to make these again, and unfortunately I don't have one, but if I had an air fryer, is to try air frying them so that you would get that crispness that you're used to with a fritter, because these are not, they have crispy edges, but they're not really crisp at all, but they are very tasty. So I would definitely say I would make these again, but I would just probably tweak them a little bit. I might try them the next time instead of the aquafaba, is using a flax meal egg instead and see how that turns out. Because again, you can experiment in the kitchen as much as you want. But again, my husband is not a fan of zucchini. He really does not like it. I mean, he'll eat it if I make it for him. But those he liked, and in fact, he came back and asked me if he could have the rest of them. So he ate the whole plate of fritters. I think I got 1 or 2 out of that. I'll put the link in the description box below, and that will be on my website, thefrugalconnection.com. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up. It does help with YouTube to get my videos noticed more. And again, thank you for taking time out of your day and spending it here with me to watch these videos. Generally, I try to keep them on the short side, like no more than 20 minutes, because I know your time is valuable, my time is valuable, but I want this to be a way to just kind of show some different ways of cooking that are healthy, nutritious, and yet very frugal. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.